All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Red Card Report podcast. And as always, I am joined by Rui Pereira and Joe Capuano. How you boys doing today?
Oh, we're doing great.
Pretty
Fantastic.
good? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Some big stuff to talk about. Champions League draw just happened recently.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we're gonna be talking about the Champions League draw, and we'll probably do power rankings, right? Top 10 power rankings for all the
something I wanted to do.
European teams this week.
Something that I feel like we got to do, too.
Yeah,
You guys are going to be a little surprised. I'm looking forward to what you guys are going to say about my list. I don't know. I think I'm going to turn some heads over here.
I bet. I bet you there's going to be some garbage in there as well.
Yeah, but Joe doesn't have anything like really good to say in return. He just says things just to disagree with me.
Are you saying I'm just negative?
To me,
No.
yes, you are. You're very
Absolutely
negative.
not.
I think so.
Anyway,
Sometimes you are.
should we just dive right into it?
No.
That's
for last.
no, it's just
Power rankings are last.
right.
All right, yeah, so might as well, we'll jump right in the Champions League draw. The Champions League draw just happened this past Monday, correct?
Yes.
Right.
This past Monday, so the matches go as follows. It's Schalke versus Manchester City, Atletico Madrid versus Juventus, Manchester United versus Paris Saint-Germain, Tottenham Hotspurs versus Borussia Dortmund, Olympique Lyon versus Barcelona, AS Roma versus FC Porto, Ajax versus Real Madrid, and the big game at the end there, big matchup, Liverpool versus Bayern.
Do we want to?
So
Should we break it? Should we break our predictions down in like that? I feel like we should do it in that order.
yeah, absolutely. Just let's go by matchup. So matchup number 1, Schalke versus Manchester City.
Rui,
What are you guys
Is
thinking?
this
Rui
even-
first.
I have something to tell you guys. I'm going for Schalke. I think Schalke's going to do the upset.
No, you're not. Don't lie, dude. Come on.
Yeah, this is going to be a cakewalk from Manchester
Yeah.
City.
Yeah,
Schalke was
that's
in
what I
an
have too.
easy. It was in the easiest group. They weren't the best team in that group. Porto was. They're in 14th place in the Bundesliga,
Right.
which is abysmal.
Yep.
City, they're in second place behind Liverpool, playing great football. Arguably the best team in Europe right now, along with Liverpool, Juventus, Barcelona, etc., etc. All the big names.
It's gonna be
It's
a
going to
cakewalk.
be a cakewalk. I don't even know if Schalke's even going to be able to put one away at least. But I don't know. It's not looking good for them. I think they were hoping to draw against someone a little bit easier than that. Maybe against Dortmund they couldn't even draw against because they're in the same league with them.
Maybe in. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they were out of luck in this one.
They drew the worst.
They're only there
one.
because they were in the easiest group.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
they're
tough.
leaving.
Tough for them.
Guess what we're saying is put your money on Man City for this one. That's basically what.
Yeah.
Yeah, there really is a whole lot to say about that one. I think most people around are pretty much giving Manchester City the win already. So we won't talk too much about that matchup. The next big one is at Atletico and Juventus.
That's gonna be a tough one to call for anyone. That's a battle of the defenses. They both have really good defenses. They both have really good midfields, and they both really try. I feel like both of them, they really didn't want to draw each other. They were. I bet you in the dressing rooms of both Juventus and Atletico, they're like, no, they didn't want to face each other right now. So,
Given who Juventus could have drawn against.
yeah.
But, it's a good test for them.
It's definitely a good test, you're right. And here's the thing, though. Juventus have Ronaldo now. I'm going to just make the prediction right now. Ronaldo makes the difference. Juventus win by 1 goal. It's not going to be big. Like I said, it's going to be a really tight contest over 2 legs. So, but my edge goes to Juventus for the Ronaldo factor.
Yeah, I think
Really?
I totally agree on this one. I think it's only a matter of time until Ronaldo actually breaks through. And the season he's having right now, it's a very good season. He's having a lot of opportunities, but we've seen that he hasn't capitalized on these opportunities, which is scary because in the 16 games, he has 11 goals, and I think 5 assists.
Yep, that sounds right.
It's pretty incredible.
Mm-hmm.
He is the most productive player in Serie A, and he's not 100% there.
No, not yet. And he's playing practically every game. He hasn't really been rested.
No.
And that's what they're planning
But
to
that's
do.
the type of player he is. He's so well fit that he can play 50, 55, close to 60 games a season And
he hasn't missed a beat, and he's 33.
Yeah.
Hasn't missed a beat.
he's an incredible. He's a model of athleticism. He's in incredible shape. He has the body of a 25-year-old. I don't think the minutes are a problem. I think he's having a very good year. It's very productive, but there's kind of some similarities from the previous year in the beginning of the season where he was in a goal drought. He only had 4 goals in the first half of the season last year at Real Madrid and La Liga.
Right.
And it's like the same thing that's happening this year. He's having all the opportunities, more or less as before.
They're there,
But
yeah.
they're there. He's just not putting them away. But this year, it's different because he's actually got 11 goals under his belt in the league, 5 assists, which is scary because I believe, and I'm predicting, I think by February, when they do play in the Champions League, this guy's going to be tearing it up. And he's an Atletico Madrid assassin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's made a career
Of
destroying
them, yeah.
and beating them.
That's why I give them the edge. Do you give them the edge?
Yeah, I give them the edge. I think Juventus, they're still not playing at the level that they're supposed to be at. They're still playing good football.
Agree.
With Ronaldo being on their team, I think in the end they will be the best team in Europe. Not right now. You're seeing some inconsistencies up top and in the midfield. Building up from the back.
We have 4 of them.
Yeah. Juventus has been very thin all year with some injuries within the midfield. There's like some inconsistencies. It's like there's something just not there yet, where they're not building up. They're not being creative. They're not building up the easier opportunities, the goal scoring opportunities, and they're also not capitalizing.
Yeah, they're creating chances every game. Yeah, Ronaldo's got 3 or 4 chances.
Ronaldo's worst week was this past week.
Yeah,
Young Boys, Torino, even against Inter, wasn't his best game. It wasn't the best games for Juventus.
Right.
So I think that they're gonna pick it up. I think Ronaldo's gonna pick it up by then, and I think it's gonna be more than just 1 goal on aggregate that they're gonna beat him by. I think it's gonna be more than just 1.
I guess
probably 2, maybe 3 goals. They're gonna defeat Atletico after two legs.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I would say aside from obviously if injuries could certainly change the outlook,
right?
Of this knockout stage for this match, this matchup. But overall, I think anytime you have Ronaldo or Messi, a player like that on your team, you automatically get the edge. So I think Juventus is going to take this, same as you guys, 1 or 2 goals, walk away with it. Next matchup though, Manchester United versus PSG.
Is it going to be an absolute slaughter, or is it going to?
Well,
yes.
I think it's going to be a slaughter, but it really could go one of 2 ways, because if Manchester United decides to get their head out of their ass now that they've sacked Mourinho, who knows what could happen? Maybe they'll at least put up a really good fight. I don't think so. I think there's still a lot more within that organization, a lot more going on within that locker room and within that organization. There's still quite a bit of turmoil.
Well said. Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right.
I don't think they have. I don't think the players have the mentality, the mental toughness to overcome what they're going through right now. They lack leadership, and the leaders that are on their team, they're hurt right now. Valencia not being used. Ashley Young, yes, he's a leader, but he's not one of the top players. On that team. There's a lack of leadership. There's a lack of not necessarily quality. It's not the best Manchester United team that we've seen.
It's not horrible, but it's not great.
Talented wise, they're not even. They're the 6th best team quality wise in the EPL. They are where they are right now.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I just don't see this upset. This PSG team, I think they're going to blow them out of the water. I don't even know if it's even going to be close. They've scored already over 70 goals in all competitions this year. And what's Manchester United? Well, not Manchester United's only weak link, because on offense they're not on the attacking side. They're not scoring, and defending they're absolutely abysmal.
Yeah.
Where in the last 2 seasons they've actually been pretty one of the best teams in the EPL,
right?
When it comes to goals allowed. They've defended very well despite the players that they've had. I just don't see it. I don't see this happening. I don't think there's an upset in the making.
Joe?
I guess the one thing that I would say is I feel like Man United would almost be better off just punting this one, forgetting about the Champions League and solely focusing on the EPL, trying to get the best position that they can in that. Because let's face it, they can't compete on two fronts. They can't compete in the Champions League and the EPL and hope for a good result. So, yeah, I mean, PSG is already written as one of the contenders for the Champions League. So, just give it to them.
Speaking of the EPL, a team that's still alive, obviously in the Champions League and in the league table, Tottenham Hotspur, and they're playing Borussia Dortmund.
I like this matchup a lot. Yep. I really do. We're going to see a lot of goals. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Two teams that just really like to attack. But my one thought of whenever I see Spurs, I automatically think, I'm like, will they be Spursy? Will they just have a Spursy moment and will they just goof? Will they let Dortmund just absolutely wreck them? I don't know, because it has happened in the past. They are very evenly matched. If I had to call it, though, I'm going to say Dortmund. I feel like Dortmund are going to go through. Dortmund are playing fantastic. They have a young squad. They're full of energy, and they play some really good football.
Yeah. Rui?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Spurs on this one.
Spurs. Yeah.
I'm just not bought into this Dortmund team. Yes, it's a very good team. They're young. They have potential. They're playing amazing football right now. But this loss against Fortuna this past weekend, it just really rubbed me the wrong way. I could be wrong on this. Their next two league games are going to be very crucial. And we're only 2 months away. So what's going to happen within these next few months with Dortmund is their Cinderella-ish or esque type of season that they're having right now. Is it too good to be true? Have they already peaked after this loss? I know it's too soon to say, but their next two games are going to say a lot because they're going to play against second place remember this team, Joe?
Yeah, Mönchengladbach.
Mönchengladbach. Thank you, Joe. They're in second place right now. This is their next fixture. The following week, they're playing against fourth place RB Leipzig. So these two games are going to be very, very crucial. And if Bayern continues to play the way that they've been playing, they're starting to gain momentum. They can take over first place within the next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If Dortmund does not continue to play at the level that they have been playing this year. So this is going to be a huge test. So right now, I'm going to go with Tottenham because they have that chemistry. They've been together for quite a few years. So I'm going to give the edge to that. Dortmund, if they continue to do what they're doing, they have the capabilities, they have the quality, they have not necessarily the chemistry, but they're building it. And I think they can beat Tottenham if they continue to do what they're doing.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think I'm going to pick Tottenham on this one too, for a couple of different reasons. I think at this stage in the Champions League, I think what it's going to come down to is experience, and I think that Dortmund's side is so young. So when you're getting to these big moments here in the Champions League, and obviously they could prove us all wrong, and they could blow Tottenham out of the water or walk away with and win the two legs. But Tottenham's been in this situation quite a few times, and I think that'll end up giving them the upper hand in this. I think, like you mentioned, Dortmund's starting to maybe slip a little bit. So yeah, we'll see.
Then again, it was just one game, so you can't just knock on them.
Yeah, it's just one game. They might be starting to slip.
But these next two games, like I said, I think it's a huge test for them.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Got 2 months.
They can change my mind within a couple of weeks.
But as of right now,
it's a toss up still. But I think after these two games, it's going to say a lot. You're going to see the trajectory of where this team is going to be going, whether it's going to stay on track or it's going to
slip. Another very well-balanced match.
Yeah. Next matchup, Olympique Lyonnais and Barcelona. Another team that's been on fire recently.
Yeah, Barcelona. I think they're playing top-notch football.
This isn't to say that Lyon doesn't have a shot. I feel like they do. If they play like they did against Man City, they'll have a shot.
Absolutely.
But we've also seen them play badly. So unless that team shows up, the one that played so well against Man City,
and the team
Barcelona
that played so
will
well
win.
against Monaco too.
That too.
I know Monaco's had a very tough season, but just the
That's
way
putting it lightly.
they've actually had a very terrible season. They're still in 19th place, and the last time we mentioned them a few weeks back, or maybe it was a month ago, they were in 19th place. So nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. And my jaw hit the floor when I found out they were in 19th place at that time.
God.
But the way that they played this past weekend was incredible.
Yeah.
I think it was nearly 75% ball possession and 20 some odd shots on goal. It was just complete domination.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they looked like a big squad. They looked like Paris Saint-Germain. They looked like Bayern Munich. All these big clubs, you know.
But Barca.
I would be surprised if they pull through. Barcelona is just so experienced at this stage, and they're playing incredible football. Lionel Messi in the last 2 games he scored 5 goals and has 3 assists.
And Fuego, yeah.
Ever since the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, he was definitely pissed about that.
Yeah, so I think
Totally
he's
pissed.
playing with a chip on his shoulder, and I think Barcelona is ready to take off right now. They're playing incredible. So I'm going to go with Barcelona.
You and me both.
I'm not ruling out Lyon because we've all seen stranger things happen in the Champions League, especially at this early stage. And I'm
Against
a firm
Barcelona.
believer that
Against Barcelona.
Yeah, last year
yeah,
with Roma topping Barcelona.
yeah,
It can happen.
it could happen.
It can happen. Yeah, I
And
don't think it's going to happen, but
I don't think so either, but we shall see.
Unanimous
for me-
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
For me, Barcelona too.
speaking of Roma, next matchup, Roma versus Porto. Rui, you want to start us off with that one?
Yeah, why not? I am going with FC Porto. Everyone is saying this is a toss-up. They're evenly matched. They have Roma apparently has a little bit more quality than Porto, and I couldn't disagree anymore. I think Porto is just a much better team this year, quality-wise, chemistry. This team is very good. They're on fire right now from all cylinders in all competitions, whether it's the Taça de Portugal, the league, the Champions League. They finished the group with 16 points out of a possible 18. Yes, it was the weakest group, but they did what any other good team would have done. I can't ask for much more. And as a supporter of Porto, that was my team. They've won the last 5 Champions League games. Marega has been on fire. Scored 5 straight Champions League games, the last 5, and that matched another Porto legend's record, Mário Jardel, who was an absolute phenom back in the late 90s and early 2000s in the Portuguese league when he played for first Porto and then Sporting. He was a goal-scoring machine, and he matched that record of 5 straight games in the group stage. He just scored 2 goals this week against Moreirense, and with Brahimi and the rest of the Portuguese attack, the Porto attack, whether it comes from Alex Telles from the outside, from the fullbacks, Herrera, Brahimi, as I mentioned, Corona, they have a lot of weapons.
Yeah.
Good quality players on this team, and they have a deep bench as well. And their defense is playing lights out. Again, they haven't played that top-notch level team yet, and it's going to be a big test against Roma, but I think they're going to pull through. I think Roma's really struggled this year in Serie A. They're in 7th place. They're not the same Roma that we've seen years before that consistently finished in the top 4. There's something off this year with them, and it's just not working.
Yeah, Joe?
If Edin Dzeko can remain healthy, if he can lead the front line for AS Roma, they have a legitimate chance to win this. But like Rui said, they have a lot of defensive issues. It's hard to explain exactly what is going on in Rome. the team just isn't playing as a unit, and it's kind of really frustrating to see. But like I said, if Edin Dzeko can remain healthy and lead the front line, they have a shot. But despite all that, I think that Porto is going to win. And if I had to give it a number, I'd say they probably win by 2 goals. It's going to be comfortable. It'll be comfortable for them.
Yeah, it's a complete toss-up for me. But I'm a little biased, so I will pick Porto, and I would always pick a Portuguese team over an Italian side, regardless of who the matchup was. So sorry, Joe. But yeah, I'm picking Porto in this one. It definitely will be close, though. I'll give you that.
At least you have some logic there.
The next matchup, Ajax versus Real Madrid. Gentlemen?
Yeah, if this was like the mid-90s.
If this was the 90s, this
would have been an epic showdown. But unfortunately, I think Real Madrid's going to take this one.
I think Ajax can do it.
No.
I really think Ajax can do it, man.
Sure, yeah.
I think they're playing great. They are playing great in the Eredivisie.
You're only saying this because you hate Real Madrid.
Well, no, I mean...
He's still sour about that penalty last year.
Here's the
thing.
I
would be too.
Hear me out. They're missing Ronaldo. They are not playing that great in La Liga.
They picked it up.
They picked it up since he took over. Sure, they survived their group. They were not convincing in the Champions League whatsoever.
Yeah, but they were still the best team in their group. It wasn't all. Roma was the other top team.
They need to convince me that they're a contender. I mean, sure, Real will always be Real, and they'll always be up there, but I'm not 100% convinced. I bet you if it would be one team to do it, I bet you Ajax could do it.
Yeah, I can see it, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Young team, playing great. They have a lot of heart. I feel like they'll give them a real test. I feel like they can. And besides, this is an Ajax team made up of youngsters that almost beat Bayern Munich. Nearly beat Bayern Munich.
Yep.
So that's
Bayern Munich has been struggling this year too.
Similar position, I suppose. But yeah, I'm giving it to Ajax. That's my hot take.
All right. Ajax for Joe, Rui?
I'm gonna go with Real Madrid. I think they're gonna pass this round. I don't know about the next one, but one round at a time, I guess. But I think Real Madrid's gonna take it. It's still, like I said, it's still 2 months away. We don't know what's gonna happen, but as of right now, I can totally see people choosing Ajax. They have a good team. They're playing incredible in their league, even though they're in second place, but their goal differential rate is
like 45, something like that.
It's at 50 now because they won 8-0 over the weekend. How about Blind? Daley Blind.
Yeah, he scored a hat trick, didn't he?
Just incredible. Daley Blind scored a hat trick. So, I mean, this team is good. They're not on the level of Real Madrid, but I can, like I said before, I can see it happening, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I think you brought up a good point earlier. I think they'll get, they should get through this round, playing a team like Ajax, playing a club like Ajax. Moving on to the next rounds, when they're starting to face, and not that Ajax isn't, quote unquote, real competition, but if they're faced with PSG, if they're faced with Juventus or, a Bayern, a Liverpool, I don't think they'll be getting through those teams, but they should be able to make it through Ajax, and I'm picking them to go through. But speaking of Bayern and Liverpool, that is the very last matchup on the list. So what do you guys think about that one?
This is another tough one, I think.
Yeah, me too.
Anything could happen.
Right now, if they were to play next week, I know who I would take, but
yeah,
something's telling me that Bayern's just really gonna pick it up.
You think so?
I think they will. I think something's telling me that they're going to pick it up. They're going to find their rhythm, and I've mentioned this to you guys before. I think Ribéry and Robben are going to play a huge part in this Champions League. And they have to. They have to. If Bayern wants to win it all and go far, or at least go far in this tournament, those two need to perform, or at least one of those two need to perform.
Yeah, and they need to provide for Lewandowski.
But something's telling me that they're going to turn things around. As of right now, I would take Liverpool.
Yeah. If you had to pick today, like if they played today, yeah.
Yeah, I would probably take Liverpool. They're playing just great football right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, top of the league. They survived the group of death. Huge win against Napoli. They beat Manchester United, and I know Manchester United's not, you know, they're not Manchester United
not the
that
Manchester
we know.
United, yeah.
But it's still a rivalry game. It's a huge rivalry.
Yeah.
And whenever you can win against your biggest rival or one of your biggest rivals, it's a huge victory.
Mm-hmm. Definite confidence boost. Here's my take, though. I feel like this is going to go all the way. I bet you we won't. I mean, if we see goals, it's going to be a tie. And I bet you it'll go to a penalty shootout. And I would take Liverpool in a penalty shootout.
Yeah, I guess.
That's what I picture happening.
I think Bayern has the better penalty shooters.
Is Neuer the same guy? Is Neuer the same keeper?
Penalties are penalties. I guess it comes down to experience on this.
Mm-hmm.
But Alisson's a fantastic goalkeeper. Neuer, not as good as he used to be. Maybe he needs a few more months to find his form again because he did have a very
long
injury. He's in his 30s. It takes time to recover. It takes time to get back into that groove. Maybe a few more months to go, he'll be more or less to where he once was. We don't know. Just like the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Just like the rest of the team.
I guess a bunch of question marks.
I don't know. Maybe I can definitely see this being a high-scoring game because they have high-powered offenses.
Yeah.
Or high-powered attacking, that is. Yeah, I could see this being tied in aggregate, and maybe the crucial away goals are gonna play a huge play a huge part in this. I don't know. As of right now, I'll take Liverpool.
I'm taking Liverpool.
They're playing incredible football, but I wouldn't rule out Bayern, especially in a couple of months from now. And knowing that this team has been together for such a long time, I think chemistry and the history of these players, knowing what it takes to go far in this tournament, I think plays a little bit of a part. And I think there's a little bit of leverage for Bayern on that part, but we'll see.
We'll see. So yeah, who knows? That's a good analysis.
That's it for the Champions League matchups. Next we got Rui's top 10 power rankings. So
the group stages are over. We're pretty deep into the season right now. Almost getting to that halfway point. It's almost Christmas break, the beginning of the transfer window. I figured that there's no other better time to just give our European power rankings of the best teams in all the leagues of Europe. So I'm gonna start from 1 to 10.
Oh, we're going. Okay.
Are you guys ready for this one?
Sure.
1 to 10?
1 to 10?
Or 10
going,
to 10 to 1.
Yeah, let's
10
do
to
10
1.
to 1.
10 to 1.
I want one to be
Joe, you
surprise.
did your spiel with the top 10 number 10s backwards. You know, you did yours 1 to 10.
Yeah.
But this time we're going to do this 10 to 1. So,
right.
Starting off at number 10 is the Dutch Giants Ajax.
Okay.
Ajax, pretty good Champions League.
Yeah.
Nice solid little group there. Bayern, Benfica, AEK Athens there. But, you know, there's 3 good teams there.
Tadic being a really good player for them.
Tadic has been great for them. De Jong, Dolberg, De Ligt, not Van Dijk. That's
not close.
From Liverpool. De Ligt, young kids on this team. They're phenomenal. Neres, the Brazilian winger. It's, you know, you look at all these young players and they're connecting and they're playing great. You look at them in the league right now. Yes, they're in second place by a long shot from the third place team, and they're only 2 points behind PSV Eindhoven, who I believe are starting to slow down a little bit. I think Ajax, pound for pound, are better. But both teams are phenomenal right now. Both of them are plus 40 in goal differential. Ajax is plus 42 within their league. Plus 42.
That's good. It's really good.
That's incredible. And I know it's the Dutch league, but, you know, big teams do that. So I couldn't ignore putting Ajax in this top 10 list. They've been playing great. They had a great game against Bayern Munich. They tied 3-3 against them. It was back and forth. It was back and forth all game long. And Bayern Munich still, I know that there's struggles this season. They seem like they're starting to pick up their form again. That's a big team.
Yeah.
That's a big result for them.
Yeah,
for a team like Ajax.
They took the game to Bayern.
So, great performance for them. They've been playing great all year. I put them at number 10. Number 9.
I can agree.
Number 9 is the other Portuguese giant, one of the biggest teams in Portugal, FC Porto. They've been playing great this season. They're number 1 in the league. They finished top in their group. Yes, it was a weak group. Everyone understands it, but they did what any other big team would have done in a group like that. They came out with 16 out of a possible 18 points.
Yeah, they dominated that group.
They dominated. They played great in every single match.
Mm-hmm.
They won 5, drew 1, and the game that they drew, they could have won that game against Schalke.
Yeah.
They could have won that game. So they've been playing great all season. They've been pretty consistent. Not the biggest, they haven't played against the biggest teams yet. No one's serious. Their biggest competition, you can just say it's Schalke or Benfica, and Sporting they're waiting to play against. Yeah, but you cannot ignore that they played great in the Champions League. They topped it. They topped their group, and they're number 1 in their league. So, and despite all the struggles from other giants, Porto's at number 9. Moving on to number 8, Tottenham.
Oh, okay.
I'm putting Tottenham on this list.
I thought they would have been a little bit higher, but that's good. Sure.
No, Tottenham is number 8. Listen, they turned it around in the Champions League. They finished with 7 points in the last 3 games in a group of death match.
Yeah, match
that they were in.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal, especially the slow start that they had. They're starting to pick it up after that loss against Arsenal. They've been playing great the last few games. So, it was a huge result to come out with a tie against Barcelona at the Camp Nou to push them to the next round. They're 3rd place in the league right now. I think they're 6 points behind Liverpool and only 5 behind Manchester City. This is why I have them above Arsenal.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And Arsenal's been playing great football, but they're not in the Champions League.
Right.
So
they can focus on the league.
Right. So, number 7, Atletico Madrid.
Okay.
Atletico Madrid, they're tied for 2nd in La Liga, just 3 points behind Barcelona. They qualify for the round of 16. They're still that big powerhouse team that is capable of going back to the final and maybe win it this time. I don't know. It's a long shot for them, but they're still a quality squad, and they still have the same players that they made it to the final with. You never know. The Champions League after the quarterfinal, you never know what could happen. So,
okay.
Moving on, number 6, PSG.
Okay. Wow. All right. 6.
Is that low?
Sure.
Is that low for them? Think they should
maybe
be higher?
But no, I want to hear your rationale for that.
Number 6?
Yeah.
They topped the group of death.
That's low.
It's low for them?
It's
wait
low.
till you see my number 5.
Okay.
So they topped the group of death. I don't think they were the best team in this group. I
can agree.
They were a product of, what could happen in a group of death where you have 3 big teams that can literally screw one another over. And I believe the best team in this group is going to the Europa League.
Yeah,
Napoli.
You know what? Yeah.
Napoli outplayed PSG twice.
Right.
In the Champions League.
I can agree with that, yeah.
And they're not even going through. And Liverpool played great.
That's what happens.
But that's what happens when you're in a group like this.
Yeah.
So they benefited off of it. And, kudos to PSG. They did what they did.
Yeah.
They're number 1 in their league. No surprise there. But, like I said, they would do what any other big team would do when they're in that circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
So they're number 6. Number 5, Borussia Dortmund.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why. They are number 1 in the German league. They topped their group over Atletico Madrid. They've been playing phenomenal this year. They're exciting.
Yeah.
They're capitalizing. They're defending well. They are a Flair-like team. There's so much creativity. There's so much energy. How much longer is this going to last? I don't know. Maybe it will last the entire season, but we've seen streaks like this where they end up dying off, end up subsiding.
It's a long
but right
season.
now, they're playing phenomenal football. Yeah. Number 1 in the league, number 1 in their group, and you can't ask for much more.
Nope.
And they beat Bayern Munich.
I can agree with that.
Number 1 in the league by a sizable margin too. They're up by 7 on the second place team, and then you've got Bayern in third with they're 9 points behind.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
they beat Bayern.
Yeah, they did beat Bayern. That was a great game too. This could be a season to remember for them. So
could be.
We'll watch out.
I think I called that game.
You did.
I know I did.
I thought that was the game Bayern was just going to come out and just gut them out, just come back and just end this Dortmund fairy tale.
But you were wrong.
And I was wrong.
As usual.
Okay.
I was wrong, but like it was...
We can't always be right.
Actually, we look at some of these predictions from like the last couple of weeks that I made. I've been like so wrong. I'm like, oh my God, our listeners think I'm like an idiot.
Right.
They must think I'm an idiot.
I've been doing pretty good so far.
I
had France winning the World Cup.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Called that one from the very beginning.
Joe was all about Croatia, and they made it all the way to the final.
I think one of the only few predictions I've lost was Braga versus Porto and Modric winning FIFA Player of the Year.
Yeah, but you picked Braga because you don't like Porto. I bet
You're
if you were
not wrong.
If you were to open your wallet, you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go for Porto. But
all right, next, give me the next one on your list.
Is this number 4?
So yeah, Dortmund. Yep, number 5. Number 4, Manchester City.
Wow.
Joe's surprised. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I'll put Juventus behind Manchester City.
Number 4?
Number 4. They lost to Chelsea last week. Crucial match. It was a match they should have won. Liverpool didn't lose to Chelsea this year. Manchester United didn't lose to Chelsea this year. This was a game that they needed to win. Manchester City. Yeah, they lost their spot. They should have won that game. They didn't. Congrats. They won their group. They finished in first, which is good. But you know what? It wasn't a strong group. They lost. They lost to Chelsea. They lost their spot in first place. You know, so they dropped down in the power rankings for me. Number 3.
Oh my God.
Joe, you're gonna be happy. It's Juventus. And it's Juventus. They would have been probably number 1 this week for if they didn't lose to that game against Young Boys. I know it was a meaningless game. I know not all the starters were in. Probably not all the players had that same mentality that they would have if it was a game to win. But that is a big problem with me because when you're in the Champions League, you play to win every single game.
Yeah, I'll just say this kind of quickly. I think that's most likely the reason for the loss. The fact that, you know, not all the starting players were in there, and I'm sure some of the players were probably not necessarily taking a day off, but, you know, weren't giving it 100%. And I think that's a problem. I think that's been an issue with the Juventus team for a number of years now, where they don't put in a full. Good. Yeah, they think they're too good.
They are very good.
Can play. You know, they can play at 70, 80% and still win games, and it's hurt them in the past, and I think it will continue to hurt them moving forward if they don't change it.
That's fair.
It's teams who do that do not win championships.
There was some time last year where Juventus was in these must-win situations, and they ended up pulling through. They won the league. They came huge against that game against. They came up huge against Inter in the last minute, you know. But that shows the greatness of Juventus when things are up against the wall for them. When they are up against the wall, they will perform. But they go through some sort of like streak within could be a 3-4 game streak where they just kind of let back. They'll win those games, or maybe they'll draw, but they don't. The games that they won doesn't look like them. They didn't look right. They didn't look as dominant as they would in different times throughout the year. But then they would end up finding their rhythm again, and I find that to be a problem because when you become inconsistent with your mentality, you can only go so far.
Sure. I will say that Ronaldo missed 3 great opportunities. This was probably his poorest game for Juventus. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. We were the better team the whole night.
Of course.
We just didn't get the win, but as you said, in the end it didn't really matter. But still, those, like both of you said, that mental sort of lapse has happened, and hopefully it's something that they can correct.
Yeah, just quickly before we move on to number 2 on Rui's list, I'd be willing to look past this game and even the mental lapses against Manchester United earlier in the Champions League. I'd be totally willing to overlook that because obviously a team can't necessarily go 110% for the entire year. You are just going to have a couple of those games. But my issue and the reason why I think that this is more significant than just 1 or 2 games is this has been happening. This has been a problem with Juve for a number of years now. This isn't just a 1-year thing or, last year spilling into this year. So, yeah, I don't know. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Moving on?
Yeah, moving on.
Number 2, Liverpool. Oh, yeah. They took over first place in the EPL, came up huge against Napoli. The EPL right now is the hottest league in the world.
That game was on a knife's edge the whole game. They could have easily tied.
They could have, should have, would have, but they came out with the W.
Napoli could have tied, and
Napoli could have tied, and Liverpool could have won 2 or 3-0 as well.
Here's the thing, though. As soon as Napoli score that 1 goal, it's over for Liverpool. They're knocked out, so they wouldn't even be on this list.
They would be.
Manchester
be on the list.
City would be, and I don't know how
Man City,
is
but
fourth
this is shoulda, coulda, woulda situation. But what happened was Liverpool played well. They played great. They held Napoli out of the net. That's what happened. Did you see the goal that Liverpool had? Mo Salah, who did he pass?
He wasn't even trying to shoot. I bet you he was looking for the pass.
He passed by arguably the best center back in the world right now, and he scored. Listen, Napoli played great. They played well, but they should have capitalized, and they didn't. And Liverpool was a big reason to why they didn't.
I just don't see them as number 2 in Europe right now.
Listen, you don't have to see it that way. It is what it is. They played great. They took over the EPL. How can you take that away from them? This arguably, how can you
temporarily?
I'm talking about right now. Next week, Man City can probably be number 1 on this list, or Juventus could be number 1, or even Dortmund could be number 1. Who knows? It all depends. But this is up to right now. Up to right now, they're in first place. They came out huge against Napoli in the group of death. Manchester City choked, and Liverpool capitalized. They took over first place in the league. That's all that it takes. Right now, they're the second best team. How much longer is it gonna last? Who knows? Are they better than Manchester City?
No.
Probably not. Talent-wise, no.
So.
But right now, they're playing great. They're on fire. They did what they had to do. They're in the Champions League knockout stages. They're number 1 in the league. That's what matters. Man City, they're in the knockout stages, just like Liverpool, but they're behind them in the league. And they coughed it up. They coughed it up against Chelsea, and they shouldn't have, because Chelsea's been kind of stepping back a little bit from where they started off the season. So that's why I have Liverpool up there. Number 1, Barcelona. Let's put it this way. They are coming for the league. Messi's on fire right now. And I think he's like I mentioned before, he's ready to prove everyone wrong. He's ready to prove France football wrong, everyone that voted against him wrong. And I think this is just the beginning. I think Barcelona is gonna just take off. I don't know if they'll win the Champions League, but they're gonna run away with this league. They're gonna run away with La Liga, and I don't know how much. I don't know.
Yeah,
Champions League is up for grabs. It's up for grabs. There's so many big teams that can win it all, but this team is ready. The capabilities of this team, the talent on this squad, and if these young players, if Dembele, like I said, really lives up to his potential, if Malcolm provides the assistance off the bench, this team's going to be scary.
And there we go. Louis' top 10.
It's top 10 power rankings for the midway point of the season.
I don't think it's too bad. That's a pretty good list.
Liverpool number 2.
You just hate the fact that they're number 2. I hate it too, but it is what it is. You got to be honest. I got to be honest.
All right, well, that's all the time that we've got today.
Everybody can, judge the list. Everyone else will judge the list.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Judge the list. As always, leave us a comment, send us a message. If you guys want to find us, you can find us on Twitter at RCR_podcast. Also on Instagram at Red Card Report. We've also got our Facebook page, just facebook.com/redcardreport. And that's about it.
Yep.